Hi, welcome back to Let's Talk About It Tuesday with Boss Lady, where we sip the tea and spill the juice. We talk about everything from the streets to the sheets. Today we have joining us Mr. Samuel Ballard. Mr. Ballard will be sharing his perspective on the lack of unity in the black community. So be sure to listen all the way through and hit that like button. I'm going to go ahead now and allow Mr. Ballard to introduce himself. Okay, would you introduce yourself for everyone, Mr. Ballard?
I'm Samuel Ballard, Memphis, Tennessee. I live in North Memphis. Been living in North Memphis for 48 years.
Okay.
What would you like to know about me?
Whatever you want to tell us about yourself.
Since I came to Memphis in mostly North Memphis, and I taught school for a while, about 7.5 years. And then I went into other things, working with the State Department and working with Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. But my heart has been in the community, so that's where I work for free. And I try to work with young people, and then I realized that they need a community, and so now I work with trying to look at how to make the community more fitting for the young people.
Okay, that's great. Okay, well, our topic today, we're still on the lack of unity in the black community. Could you give us your perspective on that?
Yeah, I used to hear people talking about that quite a bit. I said, I think we don't like each other.
Okay.
I think that's what hurts. But it doesn't start that way. It starts by looking in the mirror, and you don't like what you see in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't like what you see in the mirror, then you don't like to see people around you that look like you, because you don't like your skin color, you don't like the nose, you don't like so when you start not liking yourself, that then makes you not want to be around other folks like you. And I don't think that's the only thing, but I think that's the beginning of it. And I think the other thing is that we started feeling valued less than other people. We feel like we are less valuable than people that are not black. Less valuable. And when you don't put value on people, then you stand let's say you stand in the reception line at the store, and you say, look like the receptionist treat the white folks different than they treat the black folks. Almost like one person is valuable and one person not valuable. Mm-hmm. So when we don't see the value in each other, then you have a tendency to not to feel like you got to keep your promises. You don't have to do what let's say you don't have to work together because you don't think that are going to be valuable. You want to see, if you look at a picture and you see people standing together like a team, oftentimes it's not an all-black team.
Mm-hmm.
And they got people in there that they feel they can get value from. You have to get value from each other, from one black person getting value and feeling valuable with another black person. But our mind's been worked on for 400 years, so we know they got something been done to our mind and our thinking. So we're not thinking like we should. That's why renewing our mind has become our number one objective. How do you renew your mind? You put new knowledge in there. You learn, you read, you study. If you don't, you'll be manipulated. So you got to be able to read for yourself, read what you need to read, not just what somebody gives you to read, but read what you need to read to learn about who you are and learn about how to think and how to work as a person who has a mind to think. So that's the beginning. Learning has to be the beginning. Because you don't renew your mind, everything else follows whatever your mind says. And then you become you'll be independent. Then when you can think, now you can stand on your own 2 feet, and you can say, I don't like that. You can say, oh, I like that. You see, you can make decisions when you can think. But if you don't have the ability to think, and because you don't have no knowledge in your head, then you begin to say, well, I think they said we ought to do this, and they said, I said, who's they?
Right.
I said, you got to be able to think when you say, okay, I'm thinking.
Right. I mean, just look, say whatever what you need to say, because we need to get all of it.
Well, that's part of it. Then, you see, actually, we don't have a code of conduct. That means I don't have to be concerned about how I treat you. But see, a code of conduct is a mutual respect thing. It tells me I have to treat you with respect because I want you to treat me with respect. But I don't wait till you do me before I do you. I do you because I are who I am. So I treat you the way I feel about me. Now, if you come back a little hostile and a little, like you a little bent out of shape, I don't need to change me because you having a problem. So if you're angry, I don't say who I am, at peace with myself.
Right.
I might say, well, I might have caught you at a bad time, But we don't want to regulate how we act toward others by how others act toward us. You regulate how you act toward others by who you are. And so therefore, if you're a person of intelligence and person with standards and person of character, then you project that toward other people and show that respect toward other people. Then other people can start saying, hey, I really feel good talking to that person. They make me feel like I'm somebody. And then they begin to feel better.
Right.
And so we can be like a light shining in darkness, If you start with yourself, a light doesn't get its light from somebody else, it gets its light from within. So now we don't need to be like the moon, wait for the sun to shine on it before it can shine. No, we want to be like the sun itself. That the light comes from within us, and the light of hope, and the light of faith, and the light of obedience to God's laws. Those things make us shine. Then we begin to exemplify that when we deal with other people. And when you see another black person, see value, see quality, see possibility, see potential. See that in the other person. They might not see it, but you can see it.
Right. Okay, I get that. And that's very true. So what are some more things that you think that we can do to help make this change?
Well, I think we ought to have a list of books that we read. I mean, if you're going to get a degree in school and it's the same degree as the person next to you, chances are y'all read the same book. Depending on what if you're getting a degree in the same thing, then y'all probably going to be reading some of the same book. So if we wanted to get a degree in building black communities, we ought to be reading some of the same book.
Right.
So we ought to know what those books are. How many? Who has given us the list of books that we got to read and study in order to build the black community and have unity in the community? Where is the curriculum? I don't even know anybody who's given us a list of books. Now they might have a book they want us to read. So I tell you what I would do. I would say, read whatever book you think would help you, but I have a suggested list of books that I think could be helpful in developing our ability to create unity in the community.
Okay.
And I think the book that can help us start is the one called Building Community from the Inside Out by John McKnight. You might say, that book is telling you where to look.
Okay.
You see, from the inside out, where you going to look first?
You have to look within first.
Look inside first,
Mhm.
right? So that tells you where to start looking. Don't start looking outside first. Let's start looking inside first, and that
Mhm.
inside means inside of you.
Right.
And in what are your skills? What are your abilities? What are your capabilities and so on? And then next thing is looking inside of each other,
Mhm.
so that you begin to find quality and value in each other. You
Right.
see, you're looking inside of yourselves and you're looking inside of yourself.
Mhm.
And you're finding the good stuff in there. You say, oh, I didn't know this was in here. I've been looking all over, and I didn't even know we got all this quality right inside of us.
Right.
So it's inside out. You build
Mhm.
community from inside out. So once you know where to look, you start finding stuff.
Mhm.
And you start finding how to use stuff because you start discovering things. Okay?
Right.
All right.
Okay.
That's one book now. I got a whole list of books,
Hey.
but that's one.
Okay.
That's one.
Mhm.
And now another book that can help help us is a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And that's Stephen Covey. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That means highly effective people have 7 habits they seem to have. And I just mentioned one
Okay.
right now. And that is be proactive.
Right.
Now what is that we talking about?
Mhm.
You don't wait till something happens, then you do something. You don't just react to things that happen. You become the change agent. You make things happen.
Yes.
You make things happen. You decide what is good and make it happen. You know, don't say, oh, I don't like the way they did that. Well, why are you making things happen? So that being proactive means that you should have a vision of what it is that you want to see. And then you should get about the business of bringing it to reality.
Okay.
So I can't do that by myself. Who said you're going to be doing it by yourself? But you're going to have to start it, even if it's by yourself.
Mhm.
Many times people who made things happen, they started by themselves. But
Right.
who you are is going to have a whole lot to do with what happened. That nothing outside of you is going to change until something inside of you changes.
That's a good point. That's a very good
And
point.
another book,
Mhm.
actually, it's not all of, but sometimes the authors talk about that book. And so if you actually listen to some of their reviews of the book, that gives you some good ideas of what the book is about. So if you go to YouTube and put the author's name in the book, you can see the author discussing what the book has to say.
Mhm.
That gives you kind of a dialogue about what's in the book. And one of the people I'm talking about is Frances Welsing, Welsing. She talks about the white supremacy and black inferiority problem. And she talks about the fact that in order for us to deal with this, we have to really take a liking to ourselves. We have to start liking being black. We have to really like being black. We have to like black people. Now, I know we don't understand that if somebody worked on you for 400 years, we think that we are the way we are. We don't know that we've been injured by oppression and trauma and all that. We've been traumatized, okay?
Mhm.
So we're going to have some weird behaviors, okay? We're going to have some weird behaviors. So you got to understand that when you're dealing with our people, we are injured people. So be sympathetic a little bit, okay? But now some people have been caught up in some corruption. Now, to me, corruption is a matter of, somebody doing harm to somebody else. And you don't want to embrace that. You want to have character. But we have to let you know, you have to become discerning as to what people are serious about doing what's right and what people are not. But in general, you have to like black people. And let individuals prove themselves to be likable or not. But don't do it the other way around. Don't hate black people and let people prove themselves to be likable or not. You see, in other words, we have a tendency to condemn all 44 million people first. We condemn them all, and then we pick out a few good ones. I said, no, that's the backwards way. I said, no, you have to see the 44 million black people as good people, and then if someone proves to be a bad person, let that be an exception, not the rule. So just like you have a barrel of apples, don't say the whole barrel is rotten apples and you pick out one good one. Say in your mind, this is a barrel of good apples. I might have a few bad ones in there, but basically the barrel is full of barrel of good apples. So classify black people as good people in your head, in your mind, in your spirit. And then when you see a black person, you start there. You start with the expectations and the value and all that in your head. Now your expression is going to be based on that. I met a person this morning. Hadn't seen him in my life. But I met him this morning and I saw some books and I said, oh, you must be an artist. And he said, yes, I'm an artist and I deal with how to deal with problems in the community. I said, you do? I said, you talk in my language. And so we exchanged information right then. I gave him my contact information. He gave me his. Just like that. He said, are you a Muslim? I said, no, I'm not. I said, some people think that if you care about black folks, you got to be a Muslim. I said, caring about yourself is not a religious thing. It's a common sense thing.
Right.
I said, it just makes sense to care about yourself. Who else is going to do it if you don't do it? And so I can go on a long time.
I know, because we talk a lot and I love our conversations. I get so much from them. What are some of the things, because I know you do a lot of things in the community. What are some of the things that you're doing out in the community now?
Believe it or not, the most important thing in the community is what you're going to become as an individual. Because a lot of times we try to think of, we're going to get 10 or 15 people who show up on this corner and we're going to clean up this street. And then if nobody shows up but one person, you feel discontented and you feel discouraged because there ain't but one person. I had 15 folks said they're going to show up and nobody showed up but one person. And you feel down now, disappointed. So start with yourself. If it is to be, it's up to me. And if nobody shows up, we're going to get this place cleaned up anyway.
Right.
And many times I have done it as an individual. I would feel like I'm blessed if there's another person with me. I said, wow, I'm twice as strong as I was now. I got another person with me. But you don't in trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, it's not going to be easy because all the king men and all the king horses, they couldn't put them back together. So we're going to have to do it ourselves.
Right.
We got to put us back together. And it's going to take some real careful work to do this because we have to know that we've been programmed to not do things for ourselves. We've been kind of programmed that way. So when you do find somebody with some get up and go and when you find somebody like that, treat them like you found some gold. If a person becomes a consistent volunteer, treat them like gold. Because this is a rarity for us, so we gotta appreciate what we get. What we don't want to have, and you have to be careful about this, you don't want someone who rides egotism. And egotism is a person who really wants to make a show for others to see, like on TV and
Mm-hmm.
To run to be a politician, to run for public office and all like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the kind of spirit we need to build community.
Right.
Now, I'm not against politicians. I'm just saying that if the community is not the primary objective, if it's just how I'm going to make me look good, how I'm going to look good in the public eye, or how I'm going to get votes and stuff like that, then I lose sight of the original idea of the community. So I have to think of the community as being the primary objective. So if you're a talented person, let it become obvious in the way you work in the community, because that's where we have to build the foundation.
Right.
You see, the foundation for our progress is how well we function in the community level. We don't talk about whether you're in Congress or whether you're a senator and all that, or whether you're president of the United States. How we operate at the community level determines whether we are successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, there's some simple things about it. Working together is one. How we maintain our health. We got to learn how to follow a healthy lifestyle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That is another part, because if we're a bunch of sick folks, you can't get much done anyway.
Right.
And then we got to know how to handle money. Because if we make everybody rich but ourselves, then we still not getting money.
Mm-hmm.
So the money got to flow in a circle, not straight not like an arrow going straight out, never coming back. We have to make that money circulate within our group.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another part of becoming successful. We have to have a code of conduct, and I just say obedience to God's law. If you don't have the obedience to God's laws, you might see no problem with lying and falsifying or scheming or devil engendering and stuff like that. And you begin to play each other. You know, I'm going to have you thinking I'm this and when I'm that, you know, like that. Now that to me is outside of God's law.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be obedient to God's law, and He's given them to us in simple terms. Okay.
Okay.
And so if we have a code of conduct, it'll be simple as this. If somebody call you, and I'm talking for business,
Mm-hmm.
somebody call you, answer the phone. If you can't answer the phone, call them back.
Right.
If they send you a text, respond to it. I'm talking about, you see, your communication is not really complicated. It's a matter of how we respect each other.
Right.
I don't want you to call me and I don't call you back if I didn't answer. If I respect you, I try to call you back as soon as I can.
Mm-hmm.
If a person asks you to do something and you say you can do it, do it. If you say you can't do it, you know, that's you too. You know, you have to be honest both ways. But don't say I'm going to do it and don't do it.
Right.
You know, you oh yeah, I do it. I think that's a good idea, and then you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
See, then we are losing our power as a group when you lie to each other,
Mm-hmm.
or don't honor each other's promises, or don't value each other. You see, there are a whole list of things we can say that we do to lose power, and there are things you can do to gain power.
Right.
It's just a matter of knowing what to do. And of course, they're not complicated things. They're just things that we ignore and don't put value on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you do things that gain power, you become more powerful. So, you know, now to find people that want to find solutions, that is, when you do find somebody who want to find solutions, take good care of them, okay?
Okay, right.
Make sure they're properly encouraged and treat them like gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in this Humpty Dumpty, putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, we got to treat all the live pieces with value, you know. Now, I hope that our the motivation that is behind those who take an action, I hope the motivation is understanding how community works. In the business of putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, you don't look for you don't have the ambition of being a big one person. In other words, I need to know how to make a community successful.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm just looking at how to make me successful, I may not do the job of making the community successful. Because I might do things that are good for my own ambition, but it won't help the community.
Right.
I really have to know how to balance that situation on what's good for me, what's good for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have to choose what's good for me and what's good for the community, if I have to pick between one or the other, I need to be able to say, I do what's good for the community first before I do what's good for me. Now you might say, whoa, isn't that kind of backwards? Like you don't feed your family, feed your community before you feed your family? No, I don't mean like that. I don't mean that kind. You feed your family at first, of course. But sometimes there are opportunities where you have to really kind of walk away from the community. Some kind of ambition that may, let's say, running for a public office may become somebody say, I tell you what, I would finance you running for public office if you would. I think you'll make a good blah, blah, blah. And then you have to think, is this going to be what helps the community to become successful?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this going to pull me out of the community and have me out there by myself and the community lose? Then you say, no, I think I need to work with the community because that's where I function better. I need to help the people learn how to work together. I need to help the people feel strong. And I think I need to work at that level. And if I can work on a wider scope, fine, but I think I need to do it from that standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
A political standpoint is not going to work right now. And so, in other words, sometimes you got to pick the best way to make a community successful. Now, we are really in need of educated, well-schooled people who want to build black community. We need people who want to read and study and learn and practice what they learn. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
We need a lot of folks to be like that. We just don't have that many right now.
Right.
We need people who write books and who draw pictures and people who write poems and people who write plays and make videos. And we need creative people who want to make a community strong.
Mm-hmm.
That focus is no different from any group of people coming into this country. They form enclaves, they form communities, they form settlements, they form all kinds of little spots where they can master and dominate that particular area. We just kind of lost that. We used to have it, but we kind of lost it because the country was afraid of that, and so they allowed people to destroy it. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do it again.
Right.
I said, let's do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't be scared just because they destroyed Black Wall Street or Rosewood or Wilmington, North Carolina. Or, don't be afraid of that. I mean, I can't tell you not to be afraid of somebody killing you. I can't tell you how to feel about that. I don't know how I feel about it. But the idea is, we talk about what might happen. We don't even know. I said, let's do what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do what we can do now. No, ain't nobody doing nothing to you now. Let's do that.
Right.
Do it. And anybody, who's going to benefit from you hating on each other? I mean, how do you get kudos for saying, I hate all my neighbors? I mean, who's going to say, oh, good job, you hate all your neighbors? I mean, is that good? So why not just love all your neighbors? I mean, you can get a lot more done that way.
Right.
I mean, it starts inside of you before anything outside is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
If you just pray to yourself, then you're not going to do nothing else. Get really friendly with yourself and become self-disciplined. Do what you're going to do. I'm talking to me too. Don't be a wishy-washy. Sometimes you on again, off again. Be consistent. Stick with it. I said, I'm going to learn Spanish. So I'm going to go to a class in White Haven. I had to drive 10 miles to get to it. I said, I do that so I can know it. I got to do it this time. I'm not going to just talk about it. I'm going to learn how to write with my left hand. So just about every time I write, I use my left hand instead of my right. Because I said, I got to break through something. You know, I got to break something. Get away from the rigmarole of routine, doing it the old way. Do something new. So I started writing my left hand. I said, I'm going to learn a new language. And then, you know, I'm going to exercise every day. You know, stuff like that. And you start working on you. And then, of course, for about 7 years, about 7 years, well, since, I guess pretty close to 6 years, I've been saying I'm in charge of making sure the trash is picked up in the neighborhood. So I put trash cans on each corner, and and I had to make sure those trash cans are cleaned out on a periodic basis. And go around the neighborhood and pick up trash off the street on the outside, around the outside. And the people inside the neighborhood pretty well take care of what's inside. But I go around the outside, so we don't have trash around the outside. But I'm in charge of me, and so I said, if nobody else is doing it, then I'll do it. And I don't have to wait on that. So for about 5 years, I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, went out there on Saturday and picked up trash. And after a while, one of our restaurants that used to have a trashy lot, they started picking up their own trash. And so I said, I wanted to do that now. So you have to become, you know, convinced in what you're doing. You got to not depend on other folks to determine if you're going to be committed. You're committed from the inside out, not based on how many people are going to do what you say do. Because you can't wait on that. You got to do what you think is right.
Right.
And you just keep doing what you think is right.
Okay.
And don't complain. I tell boys, I say, look, if you're the only one doing it, don't get mad with the folks not doing it. I said, laugh, be smiling. If they wait and say, you're doing a good job, say, thank you. Don't get smart with them. You know, like, you should be out here. You should be out here too, you know. Don't get smart with folks just because they say, you're doing a good job. No, he said, I'm not supposed to be the only one out here, but that's the only one out here now. But you see, that's the thing. You got to keep a good, positive attitude. And when somebody calls you and they're all upset about something, be very empathetic. And don't start saying, well, you should have this and you should have that and you should have this. No, just be empathetic. All right, I'm gonna take a look.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate you so much, Mr. Ballard, for taking time out of your day, which I know you're a busy man, to speak with us and share your perspective and give us so much information on how to change these things. I'm sure hopefully everybody got something out of it. I sure know that I did. So again,
I would say one little thing last, and that is you need to have you a place. When I say a place, you need to have you a geographic area where you are going to flex your learning and your understanding about what to do.
Right.
Don't try to be everywhere for everybody. Pick your spot where you say, I'm going to define this as my territory. With an east boundary, a south boundary, a west boundary, and a northern boundary. And you work inside that territory.
Right.
Don't ever see yourself as an individual. Always see yourself as a part of a team or a group that's working together. You just don't know who the group is yet.
Right.
and you're looking for the people who are going to be a part of your group. So whenever you meet somebody, always look with expectation. This might be one of them.
Right.
That's
Okay.
gonna give you a whole different perspective when you see somebody. This might be one of mine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're gonna be part of my team. And then you start checking them out and say, hey, this might be one of mine. You see, and I don't know. I claim folks from Millington to Westwood.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it's not up to them. I claim them.
Right.
One of mine.
Right.
Oh yeah, you got to take possession of the land, and even if you don't own it, you take possession of the fact that the culture of the people determine the community, not the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
The culture of the people that determines your community, how well people care about each other and how well they look out for each other. Okay, I'm getting out of here. I'll talk with you. I'll talk with you. I can talk with you some more later.
Okay.
But that's the kind of the stuff that I kind of feel like makes a difference. If we read, and I didn't put all the books out that I was thinking about, but I just put out a couple of them.
Right.
3 books, I think 3.
3. Mm-hmm.
You should never stop learning and searching for information on how to overcome oppression and concentrate on inside out versus outside in. But don't worry about what the white folk doing to you and all that. Deal with what's inside of you.
Right.
I hear too many people talking about what other folks are doing to us.
Mm-hmm.
And not thinking about, Black Lives Matter. I said, whoa. I said, who does it matter to?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you show it? If Black Lives Matter to black people, then how do we show that?
Right.
Because if we're not liking each other, how is that showing that they matter?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we could be telling other folk to like us, and we don't even like us.
Right.
And I said, you got to start by being an example of what you want other people to be.
Mm-hmm.
And by all means, don't worry about what other folk think about us before we think about what we think about ourselves. Now, I told you I got to get that. Okay, I'll talk with you later, man.
Okay.
I don't get through, look like.
That's all right with me, but I do appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And what's the name of your theme today?
Is Let's Talk About It Tuesday with Boss Lady. The topic is the lack of unity in the black community.
You start out, you said, let's talk about what?
Let's Talk About It Tuesday with Boss Lady. We're on every Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Let's talk about it on Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about it on Tuesday.
Let's Talk About It Tuesday.
Oh, let's talk about it Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, and your topic today is
the lack of unity in the black community.
Okay. Now, as after today, we're gonna say gaining unity in the black community.
Yes.
Because we're gonna be proactive.
Right.
And we're gonna look at how we're gonna gain it, and so everybody you see now is gonna be a possibility.
Right.
Oh, that's a possibility right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know what you got. Okay, well, all right then. I'll talk with you later.
I'll talk to you later, Mr. Ballard. Thank you again.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Ballard is something else. I love him. But he shared his perspective. And he gave us lots of information. And as far as those books, I'll make sure the names of those books will be placed in the description box below. So I'm going to get out of here as well. But next week we're going to have Miss Tenise Matthews and her business partner Patrick Alexander. They're going to be with us, and Tenise from the I Am program. The I Am program was founded by Tenise Matthews in 2021. She's located in the Southland Mall in Memphis, Tennessee. You can find her on Facebook, as well as she has a website. And we're going to be speaking with her next week. And her program is about inspiring youth to embrace their identity while unleashing their inner potential, which I think would be something great for us to talk about, and her to let us know what her program is about and to get more people involved. with helping the youth and nurturing the youth. So again, I thank you all so much. Make sure you hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share so other people can hear about what's going on with Let's Talk About It Tuesday with Boss Lady. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Until next time, peace, love, and light.